All right, what a test we're going to have this week. These guys are playing really good football, 5-0 at their place, 1-0 in the division for these guys. And, active, opportunistic defense, ball hawks, 11 takeaways. They're just, they're playing at a high level. Pretty good personnel. Grenard and Van Ginkel have been excellent for him. Cashman, and then certainly, Harrison's still back there, and Bynum's coming on, and Metellus I think a lot of, and Pace is doing a hell of a job. A lot of good guys are active back there. Flores is doing a great job with them. So active defense, it really starts with them because these takeaways are really kind of fueling this team right now. And then offensively, as we all know, Justin Jefferson, he carries a big hat for them. They're going to find a way to get him the ball. He gets explosives. He's got run after catch. He can run the whole route tree. We have firsthand experience with him. Just because you double him doesn't mean it's over. You got to find a way to body him up, and that's what we're going to have to do. Is we're going to have to put bodies on him because he'll eat you up, and then don't sleep on Addison over there. Jones, I think, makes this team different. Kind of just brings a different element to him. His style of running. He's a receiver out of the backfield, kind of a slasher. I think he's been really good for them. Running the ball more, downhill runs, trying to create an identity. And then certainly the quarterback's playing well. Darnold is doing a good job. So O'Connell's got them humming, man. This going to be a huge challenge for our guys, but we're looking forward to it.
Dan, on Monday you said about the edge rusher, you said that you seem to leave possibilities open and saying that Brad's always looking. Yesterday you seemed to close the door on your radio interview saying it's just going to be more of a role player. It's too expensive to go get one of those elite guys. What happened between Monday and Tuesday to kind of make you change your tune a little bit?
Oh, well, I don't know if I changed my tune, and I certainly didn't mean it to sound like that. I'm sorry, I got something in my shoe here. I didn't mean it to sound like that. I think what it means more. Look, Brad knows the ins and outs of what it would take to acquire somebody. I don't know all of those, but I know enough to know that if it's somebody that is highly productive. They're 6'6", 285 pounds, run a 4.4 and 35-inch arms. Those guys don't just fall off trees. You're going to have to. Do you want to trade Hutch for that guy, or do you? And so you're some of it is, it's certainly trade value. It's also contract, right? What is that contract? Does that have a bearing on our future, and who we're trying to get signed moving forward? Speaking of that, fired up for Mac. Man, he earned that. He's a pivotal piece here for us, and he's one of our pillars here. No different than these guys that we've signed back. So we're fired up for him. He's playing at a high level, and he's going to have to continue. But so I didn't want to feel that way. Look, we're open to anything. Brad's working through it. We are not going to be in a hurry. Brad would tell you, man, he's doing his homework. The crew's doing their homework. They're looking at everything, but we're not going to just make a move to make it. It's got to be right. It's got to be the right guy, and the pieces have to fall in place.
A few weeks until the deadline. The deadlines make deals. When you get a little closer to there, people start, the market gets a little more active, and things can open up for you guys.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say that it's more about that. I think it's about, man, we're doing your homework. You're digging through things, not just what's on the tape, but what else is out there that you don't quite know about, and you check on somebody and it's like, well, I may be open to it, but you got 24 hours. Okay, something's going on, So, look, Brad's on it. He's looking at everything. Nothing's off the table. But we're not in a hurry. We're not in a hurry.
It's not 6'6", 4'4", but 6'5", 4'7". It's not too bad in Isaiah Thomas. I'm just curious, can you take us a little bit behind the scenes and how that works in season when Brad and Rob and those guys identify a guy to maybe add to your mix, how much are you consulted? How much do you kind of look at the guy before the decision is made to pull the trigger on that?
When it comes to those, they've got a real good. I mean, he's got a database of these guys that they've already done their homework on, that are on other practice squads, and most of the time it's guys that we liked coming out of the draft, and you're keeping tabs on them, and then sometimes it's guys that have had production one way or another, but now they're not on a roster or they're on a practice squad, and so usually when these come up, Brad will come in there and he's like, "Hey, you remember so and so?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." Well, he's up, this, and he kind of just gives me this is what's taken place since that time, So no, this is more, man, I trust Brad on what he says, and he knows that. I'm like, man, you tell me it's gold, it's gold. If you tell me it's not, then it's not. So this move felt right for us. We liked him. We're glad he's here. And he brings in more competition. We get somebody else to look at. He's part of the mix. And the more competition you bring in, the better you find out, and those guys kind of go after it a little bit. And doesn't mean we're done. It just means that's where we're at.
McNeill's extension a little bit, man. You guys took care of Montgomery. You take care of McNeill. You've been a player. Just the importance of getting your guys signed early, getting ahead of it. Can you talk about just why you guys would do this at the time right now, and then to get ahead of it a little bit?
Well, this is something we've wanted to do for a little while now, and look, ultimately, you hate getting these done in the season. I mean, it's good, but it's like, you're trying to focus on football. They are, we are, but yet, sometimes you start working on these, and it just takes a minute, and it kind of bleeds into the season. So it's something we wanted to do, and we know we knew we wanted Mac around here long term. I just go back. He's one of the original. He's that original 21 class, man. He's part of that core with St. Brown and Sewell and those guys. And so I'm glad we got that done, man. And he earned it, and I mean, everybody loves Mac. So it's good to have Buttercup back.
You mentioned how good their defense is playing. What are the keys when they put 15 guys at the line of scrimmage and rush half of them and drop half back? You never know who's coming out of the snap. What are the keys for Jared, whoever, Frank, to identify that and get you in the right play?
Yeah, man, calm down. This is what we did a pretty good job of last year. Now their personnel is better, and now they're 2 years into this system, and so they've got a pretty good grasp of what they're trying to do. Their disguises are much better, but I think look, you even see that over these first 5 games, man. There's a little bit of everybody's not on the same page, and they have capitalized off of that, and not just made plays. They've been critical plays in Minnesota's favor, because, man, we didn't target it right. It's a run, and now it's a 7-yard TFL because simply we just didn't block the guy. They turned the defensive end loose, or the will linebacker, or we're in protection. It was like, I thought it was. And then they do a good job of putting the linebackers on your backs in protection. So, they don't want your backs getting out in routes, and they try to chew them up and isolate them. That's where some of these one-on-ones come into play. Is the rush and protection. So look, it's Jared, just same thing, man. Everybody calm down, composure, make an identification. Let's all be on the same page, and if we're all wrong, we're all right. If it comes to that. So I think that's a lot of it, because they don't make it easy. And that's part of this defense. They're trying to stress you out. They're trying to strain you. The clock's running. This game will be on the road. And it's worked. It's worked. I mean, they've gotten on some people. They've gotten on all these offenses. And they've been able to play their game, offense, defense, and really because of the defense, because they've gotten up, man. These multiple score games, they're up 2 scores, they're up 3 scores early, and, man, you were out of your offense so fast that you can't, now you're totally playing into their hand.
Hey, Dan, with Peko gone, has Roger Mark's return accelerated, or
Broderick's doing a good job. Certainly he's somebody Brad and I talked about yesterday. I don't want to say it's accelerated. It's, we like Broderick. We like where he's going. He's still a young, developing player. But we got Chris Smith. We got O'Connor. I mean, we got options. That's why we have those guys here. So we don't feel like we're pinched. We feel pretty good in that regard. And by the way, I'm glad you said that. Some of this kind of got lost. I hate it for Peko. Man, Peko was kind of it falls under, because of what happened with Hutch. But, man, we lost Peko for the season. And Peko's been one of those just kind of silent producers for us, does all the dirty work. And he's the one who frees up Alex and Jack and Rodrigo and those guys to make the plays they make. And then, he held down the fort till Reeder got back. And then he's a rotational guy. And so, man, we hate it for him. I mean, that's, we're going to miss him. We're going to miss him too. But no different than the other. We'll adapt. We've got, that's why we have those guys that we have on the vet squad, the Chris Smith and O'Connor. Go ahead.
Do you anticipate Carlton coming back this week? Do you anticipate Carlton playing this week after?
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about it right now. I mean, there is a small chance that maybe not, but I think I'll know a lot more tomorrow on this. I don't see him practicing today, but I feel optimistic.
Benefits of playing as long as you did in the league and having a staff full of guys like you. You have a lot of experiences that you can convey that are relatable to your players, and I know you do that quite a bit. In your career, did you have a situation where you guys lost, such a significant piece and were able to rally around that and, go on and achieve success, something that you were able to maybe share with your roster from your past?
No, not that, nothing that necessarily comes to mind, to the forefront. Now I will say this, as a coach at New Orleans, we lost Mike Thomas early in the season. We tried to get him back late, but that's really the kind of the injury he's been dealing with since then. And that was, from the outside, that looked like doom and gloom. And we adapted and we adjusted and we spread the ball around. We spread the load, and AK took on some more, and Latavius and Jared Cook and Traquan Smith and those guys. And so we were just fine, and we had Drew back there humming it in the old line. So we adapted. We were good. My last year in New York, we were feeling pretty good. And we had, Shockey was a rookie. We had Ike Hilliard, Amani Toomer. We lost Ike, and Ike was a huge part of what we did. He was one of our, third down conversion. I mean, he was up there. He was kind of our staple, and we lost him, and that was a gut shot. But we adapted, and you just spread the load out. We had a good run game, and guys stepped up, and so it's not the first time this has happened. And man, unfortunately it's life in this sport.
I was just curious how Hutch doing coming out of surgery. Is the plan for him to be around, still be with the team, involved in that whole process while he's rehabbing?
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday, and he's doing good. Now he's trying to process everything. It's still pretty new, and so just exactly what is this? Where do I go? Which you would expect. I mean, he's laying in the hospital room with his leg up, but he's back, and I know that he didn't want to be a stranger. I know he talked about being back a little bit, when it made sense. So, and he knows he's welcome here anytime. We would love to see him. The whole team would love to see him. He's a huge part of what we are. And we hate it for him, but yeah, so we'll see. Yes.
Carlos, real quick, last one. Yeah, just when it comes to, if you guys do end up adding a significant, higher end edge rusher, is that one of those positions that it's as close to plug and play as you can get as far as see quarterback, get quarterback? I know it's obviously more complicated than that, but can they slide right in pretty quickly, do you think?
I do. I do. I think if it is somebody that makes sense that we're looking at, I think that's the idea. We need to get this guy in as fast as possible. And if it wasn't, it would be more. Well, look, I think we're going to find a way to get this guy in immediately. You know, I was going to say, well, some of the terminology. Well, even if it's limited, I think you're trying to get that player going as fast as possible. But I don't want to tell you absolutely they would walk right in and. But I think that'd be the idea.
Something other than concussion, because we're going to be cleared to come back. Is he dealing with
Yeah, it's not concussion.